All right, guys, what you're seeing on screen here is pretty much every guy's dream. You got a beautiful woman that's interested in you, sick car, awesome house on the ocean, and you're a real life James Bond. You're cool, confident, attractive. The ladies are into you. You've just got your stuff together. This is what every guy wants, if we're being honest. And here's the thing, all of this is possible for you. You can have all of it, but it comes with a price. And that price is staying single until you become that guy. And so what we're gonna do in this video is explain why 99% of men never get the women they want or the life they want, and how you can be different. So what you're seeing on screen here is a chart that I've shown in many of my recent videos. If you want a complete breakdown of this chart, go watch my video if you feel like you're falling behind in life. That video breaks this whole chart down in detail, but just a quick summary of it. The y-axis represents the quality of life for a man. The x-axis represents the age a man is. And then this red line here represents the normal life path. You see that the average man out there, he goes off to college typically in his early 20s. His life quality goes up to a 2 out of 10. He thinks he's really killing it. It feels a lot better than being in high school. But honestly, it's not a very high quality life. You're broke. You're getting drunk at a frat party at best. You get out of college, your life quality declines again. Now you're making 35, 40K per year at some job you don't like. It bumps up again a little bit in your mid-20s, and then it gradually declines as you enter your 30s. And the average person's living a very low quality of life, if we're being honest. Now, what this blue line represents is the outlier life path, and this is the path I advocate for you guys. It's the path that I'm on. It's the path that gets you what you want in life. You'll see that you start down. You don't go off to college. You don't have this bump early on in life where you're goofing off and having fun and just not caring about things. You're working on yourself. You're pushing forward. But you see that as you progress through your 20s and into your 30s, your life quality just shoots up and you end up living a 10 out of 10 life. A 10 out of 10 life is everything I showed in that first slide. It's, the women are interested in you. You're this guy who people are like, I can't believe this guy's real. This is crazy. He's good at everything. He's confident in all situations. He's attractive. He dresses well. He makes great money. He loves his life. That's the kind of thing that's possible for a man who chooses to live differently. One of the biggest differences between these two life paths is the relationship you have with women. In fact, that might be the biggest difference, is how men in their 20s deal with women on the average life path versus the outlier life path. So here's what the average man in his 20s, his relationship with women looks like. You're out at some sort of bar or club, you get your friends together, you're all in the back of your mind hoping that you're gonna get lucky tonight, and you run out, you have a few beers, you try and hit on some girl you're not even all that into, if you've got the courage to do that. Most guys just kind of sit in the corner and pray that a girl comes up to them or something. They don't really think this through, and they spend their nights out at places like this, wishing upon a star that some woman's gonna be into them. They're getting on dating apps and swiping around all the time. Oh, I hope I can get a girl this time. Getting left on red on the dating apps, all that kind of stuff, spending money on it, good things like that. You're watching videos like this. The average man binge watches these kinds of videos. 6 Tinder photos proven to boost matches. 5 signs she likes you, or this will make a woman think about you nonstop. This is the kind of thing a guy is spending time consuming. He's going on YouTube and typing in, how do I get girls? How do I make girls like me? Things like that. He's scrolling on Instagram, maybe sending a DM or two that gets left on red, or maybe he's just imagining himself with these women. He's doing stuff like that. He's this guy, this meme right here. There's a reason this meme went viral. It's because it's true. This is what the average man looks like out at a club like that, screaming in some woman's ear. He thinks he's got game. He doesn't have game. He's just had a couple beers and now he's just talking like an idiot, and she's totally uninterested. And this happens all the time. I've been here too. You just, for some reason, we think this is gonna work. It doesn't make any sense. Who told us that this strategy was going to get us the life we want? I don't understand, but this is what the average guy is doing. So the question is, what does all of this get you if you go on that life path? Well, it gets you this. It gets you waking up in the morning by yourself. You thought you were going out and you were going to get some girl. Nope, as usual, you go home alone. Looks like he was probably making out with his pillow. He probably went home. He saw some girl out at the bar that he liked, but he was too scared to talk to her. So he went home and made out with his pillow and pretended that she was in bed with him. Something like that. This is just down bad behavior from guys. Waking up in the morning hungover, again alone, you're regretting all your decisions. You're like, why did I go out again? And I thought this was going to work out. I thought I was going to get a girl, but that never happens. For the last 100 times I've tried, I've gone nowhere with this. You're getting left on red. You download the dating app, you spend all this time swiping around on it. Right here, you spend money on Tinder Premium or Gold or Hinge Premium or whatever it is. You spend money on these things. Maybe you finally get a match. You get super lucky and some girl's into you. She matches with you. Oh my gosh, I'm actually going to get a girl. And like 2 messages in, you've been left on red. And then I put this hourglass here because the biggest consequence of all is just the time you're wasting on this. I mean, your life is passing you by. You're falling behind. You're looking on social media. You're like, how is this one guy killing it? He's in great shape. He's crushing life. He's got money. Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe it's because he's not out at some bar trying to pick up a girl he's not even into. Maybe his YouTube search history doesn't look like a desperate man trying to get a woman. Stuff like that. This is the results you get from living the average life path, and we all know it because we've all at some point experienced this. And over time, this is what it gets you. This is the average man's physique in his late 20s, early 30s. 26% body fat. That's the average income in America. $37,585, guys. We got to be living differently. Seriously. I mean, I've been hammering on this, but it's true, guys. This cannot be it. But this is what you get when you live that normal life path. And just think about it. It makes sense. Like, you don't have time to self-improve when you're out chasing women constantly. And that's what the average man does. His top priority in his life is chasing women. And then he gets this. And then he wonders why he doesn't have a woman. Gee, I don't know. Wait, who would want to be with that? And I want to let you know that I am not preaching. I am just like one of these guys. I fell for this same stupid trap. I'm a man. You know, I want women. It's like the biggest drive we've got. This picture right here you're seeing, I genuinely thought this picture was a game changer. I remember I was like 23, 24 years old. I probably spent the entire day getting this picture that you're seeing on screen. And I was like, man, this picture is going to change the game for me. I'm going to put this on a dating app. You know, I literally went on YouTube and was trying to figure out how to take good pictures for dating apps. And I was like, here's how you pose and doing this thing. And I went and found some place where I could just stand up against a wall that looked kind of nice. I had to have somebody come take the picture for me. Like, I set the whole day up. I think we went to 2 different locations looking for somewhere to shoot photos. Ended up here with this one picture. And I was like, man, this picture is going to be a game changer. I'm going to put it on a dating app. I'm going to get so many girls, like stuff like that. Just stupid stuff. You know what I got? Not much, right? I got a date out of it, I will say. I don't know if it was from this picture or just because I got a date. I go on the date, though, and you know what happened? The girl found out I was a brokey, and she wasn't interested in me anymore. Seriously, so like all that effort, and it's like it maybe got me on a date, but at the end of the day, I still wasn't that guy. I wasn't the guy she was interested in because I was wasting my time trying to get a picture for a dating app. 8 hours I could have spent self-improving. 8 hours I could have spent making money. But I was too busy trying to get some picture. This isn't even a good picture here. Like, you might as well just wait till you have money and hire a photographer, you know? Like, this is, I mean, it's ridiculous. I look back on this stuff, the amount of time I wasted chasing women, it's ridiculous. And so I'm hoping if you're a guy out there right now, I can wake you up. Because I'm telling you, man, I don't chase women at all anymore. My whole mindset has completely changed. I'm getting so much more done as a result. And you know what happens is you start getting more attractive and the women start chasing you. That's what we want anyways. But when you're, you know, spending all your time trying to get a dating app pick, you're missing the point here. Like, you're not making yourself attractive. You're trying to masquerade as attractive. And guys do this with trying to find pickup lines. They go out to a bar and they found the latest line they found on YouTube that's going to get them a girl tonight. But the girl just finds out he's a clown and she's not interested because he hasn't improved himself. The average man's top priority is chasing women. And a lot of you out there are going to act like you're not one of these guys. You're going to be like, yeah, like these guys, they're so silly. All they do is chase women. But actions speak louder than words. And every time you have free time, what are you doing? Are you on the dating apps? Are you on Instagram? Are you thinking about women? Are you trying to get a girl? Are you in some long distance relationship, driving across the country to talk to some woman, doing all this kind of stuff? Like, what are you doing with your time? That will tell you what your top priority is. If you get done with work and you're not working on a business, you're working on trying to get a girl on a dating app, then we know what matters to you. Look in the mirror, guys, and your results are going to show this, okay? Now, here's how you can live differently and get this outlier life path right here. You got to approach women completely differently. While that one guy is off doing this stuff, clubbing, on the dating apps, trying to find girls on YouTube, like the next hack to get a girl, this is what the guy on the outlier life path's doing. He's in the gym, getting after it. That guy's out at the bar, he's in the gym. He's working late on his business. He got done with that job he has in the daytime that he doesn't really like, but he has to work it to get his money right. And then he started working on his business that he's going to take full time in 6 months once he gets it up and running. He's grinding on it. He's putting in the 12-hour days right now because that's what you have to do as a man to get places. He's reading books. The average man doesn't read books. He hasn't read a book since high school. He doesn't have an interesting thought in his head. His vocabulary sucks. This guy's reading books. He's articulate. He's interesting. He's intelligent. He has opinions. He can see the world better because he's read and he understands what's going on out there. He's got skills. He's training. He's boxing. He's learning languages. Whatever your passions are, he's doing those things. Becoming a well-rounded man. Again, a James Bond. James Bond, I promise you, he wasn't out chasing women. You couldn't learn how to fight people and all this other stuff he does. Shoot guns. Be intelligent. Be that confident. Play poker. Everything James Bond can do. You can't do that when you're out at the club, right? Chasing women. James Bond doesn't chase women. They just show up to him because he's such an outlier. Notice this, in basically every James Bond movie, the woman pretty much gives him a sign that she wants him. And then he'll just make the move from there. He's not out chasing them. This guy, he's also focused on continuing education right here. He's watching courses. He's learning how to build a business. He's learning about digital marketing. He's learning sales, the kinds of skills that can make you get ahead in life. He's focused on those things instead of focused on chasing women. Now, where does this get you? Well, it gets you this stuff we showed you at the beginning. You're the confident guy. Look at this woman coming after him, right? Following behind. He's leading the way. He feels great about himself. He's put himself in a position where he's an outlier kind of guy. He's 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 1,000, maybe even 1 in 10,000, depending on how hard you work. You're the kind of guy women want. You're a regular James Bond. You've got it all put together. I'm telling you guys, the gap on this gets wider and wider as you go. I'm 27 now, and it's just like I've read hundreds more books than the average person my age. I know how to fight some. I'm still working on that some, but I know better than most people. I'm in fantastic shape. I've got my career figured out. I'm making more money doing this stuff. The gap just starts widening, guys, and it's because I figured out in my early 20s I was wasting an enormous amount of time chasing women. And so I just sped the process up by stopping that. You've got the fast car. You've got the money for this stuff. Seriously. This is really just how it goes if you live differently. It just makes sense. If you're not wasting all your time and you do the right things, this is going to be your life. It's just logical, okay? This is not a guess. Now look at these two guys right here. I want you to imagine these two guys walk into a room. Which one is the woman picking? We don't even need to ask this question. It's rhetorical because everybody knows the answer. Yet everybody's living like the guy who's out of shape because they're chasing women. And that guy's not getting it. You can see this plain and simple. The guy right there who's out of shape, he's not getting women. He's making 37 grand a year. He's desperately trying to get some girl that he doesn't even like because he's just lonely and he wants something. Meanwhile, this guy over here, he's just picking them up left and right. He doesn't even have to try. And it's because one guy put the cart before the horse. He thought, I'll get women and then I'll deal with everything later. And so his whole life's a mess because he couldn't prioritize. He wanted instant gratification. This guy over here, he said, I'm going to get my life together and the women will show up to me. And what do you know? It's just common sense, guys. Really. I mean, this isn't hard to figure out. We all understand this. And we go back to this chart and you can just see like actions have consequences. This is not rocket science. One guy self-improved. One guy chased girls. What do you get? It's not hard. But most of you out there watching right now, you're still on that red life path. Maybe you're gradually changing it up a little bit. You're trying to make progress, but I'm telling you, you're not doing enough probably. If you're not seriously crushing it in life, if you still have the dating apps on your phone and you aren't like super successful, then you're doing it wrong. You're still messing up. If you're still trying to figure out what should I text this girl, like how do I get her to like me and stuff like that, then you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you, just cut all that crap out, self-improve. You don't have to worry about any of that after a while. It just starts taking care of itself. The biggest thing holding men back in life is trying to get women before it's time. If we go back to this chart right here, I would tell you until that blue line starts really hockey sticking and you get up to around a 6 out of 10 quality of life, it's just not worth your time, okay? You're just going to be fighting an uphill battle. I'm telling you, women want the guys at the top. We all know this. They all think they can get the guys at the top too. So if you're some guy down here, you have to fight for the scraps. You have to do all kinds of stuff you don't want to do. It's just not the relationship dynamic you want. The higher you climb, the more it tilts in your favor. So when you get up to around a 6 out of 10, I would say you can start entertaining these kinds of things. But here's the thing. You don't have to chase them. They're going to be putting themselves in front of you. Because a 6 out of 10 kind of guy, like living that lifestyle, that's a 1 in 100 man. Seriously. If the average man is 26% body fat making $37K per year and he's down here at the 1 to 2 range on lifestyle, then a 6 out of 10's got to be somebody in the mid 6 figures, like 120K per year and in good shape. And that's about 1% of the population when you do the math on it. In fact, it's 0.4% of the population when you do the math, because I've done this. 0.4% of the population are in good shape and making 6 figures. That gets you to around a 6 out of 10, though, because that's not really that much of an outlier compared to, $100 million, incredible shape, social status. That kind of stuff's up at a 10, right? But you get to a 6 and, like, you really are living a different lifestyle, and the women start coming for you. I've kind of gotten to around the 6 range at this point, I would say, and it's still picking up, and I can just see the difference. It's like I walk in a room and it's very rare that I'm going to find somebody who's like directly competing with me. I'm not trying to brag, like I've put in the work. I used to be this guy down here with a 200,000 mile Toyota Camry with paint chips on it and so like scratches all on it and stuff. Working some job paying me $18 an hour. I felt terrible about myself, but I've put in the work and you guys can do the same. So like I said, the biggest thing holding men back in life is trying to get women before it's time. And everyone knows this is true, but most men will still spend all their time chasing women. Why is that? That's the big question now. And the answer is scarcity. What you're seeing right now on screen is a real life example of the average man's dating life. Barren wasteland. Ain't nothing going on, okay? And this is what it's like for most of us, including myself, when you're, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Maybe you go off to college and have a little bit of success. I had a little bit of success. I've here and there had some success in my early 20s with women, but it certainly was very close to this barren wasteland. It was just like an oasis in the desert. Occasionally, I'd find some woman who was interested in me. But that's pretty much what it's like for most of us, okay? And what happens when you're living this way is you get this mindset in your head where you're just like, oh my gosh, like there's no water, right? You're in the desert and there's no water. That's literally what you feel like with women. So every time you see water, you go crazy. You're like, crap, I better drink as much water as I can right now because I don't know when I'm going to get any more water. I'm in the desert, That's how we view our dating lives for the most part. We've got this scarcity mindset. But here's the thing. If you live where water is plenty, like imagine you live in America, okay? You live in America. You live where water's plenty. You don't worry about getting water every chance you get because you know the water will be there when you need it. This is the big difference between an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset. You don't have to worry about taking every single little opportunity and chasing them all down and focusing on it constantly because you're like, it'll be there when I'm ready for it. Like, I'm not thirsty right now. But if I was in a scarce situation and water showed up, I'd be like, I better get this water for later. But I know I can go downstairs, turn on the water, get some water, and I'm good whenever I want to. It's a blessing, but seriously, like it's just a mindset too. It's like the abundance mindset of knowing this thing will be there for you when you need it. But the fact that most men don't feel that way means that every time a woman shows up in their life, they feel like they have to capitalize on it because they feel like this desert. They feel like I never get women. Like, holy crap, a girl's slightly interested in me. I better take it. And they're just constantly starving for this stuff. And it just comes down to a mindset shift you have to have. I understand it because it's hard to break that mindset. It's hard to believe in something that you've never seen, which is the idea that women are just going to flock to you. That you're just literally going to be in a spot where you can turn down women because you know more are coming. That's a hard place to get to. Most guys have never experienced that in their lives, even most married men. That's why they got married. It was a woman who was interested in them, and so they jumped at it because they weren't going to get anything better. What you have to do, though, is live like there is plenty of water, even when you're in the desert. If you want to be successful, if you want the outlier life path, you have to trick your brain into thinking that you've got tons of options. Because if you're living in scarcity, you're just going to throw everything out the window for the woman. And what happens is guys start dating a woman. They spend all their time chasing a woman. Let's say they get one finally. They just throw all their goals out the window because they don't want to lose this woman. They're texting her back constantly, chasing her down. We'll go on a date every night. Oh, you want to move in? Sure, let's do that. Let's do this. Okay, I won't go work out right now. I'll go eat pizza and sit on the couch with you, or, all this stuff. Okay, I won't focus on my business. I'll go hang out with you. And they'll just do this stuff constantly, destroy their lives because they're in scarcity. They're feeling like they finally found an oasis in the desert and they don't want to lose it. And that's just not how it is, guys. Like, the truth is you've got abundance of water. You think you're in a desert, but in reality, there's water everywhere. You just got to believe it. And eventually it will be true. But you have to act as if there is plenty of water until the water shows up. You have to act as if tons of women want you until you make yourself the kind of man where that is your reality. And if you can't do that, you're going to get stuck in scarcity and you're not going to get to live the outlier life path. Just think about this logically, guys. If you were a 0.01% man, meaning 1 in 10,000 man, women are obviously going to want you. It just makes sense. Rationally speaking, use your rational brain on this one. Even if you're just a top 1% man, top 5% man even, they're gonna want you. It's just logical, okay? So trust the process. If you're down right now and you don't have options, just understand if you change your life, you will change your outcomes. You'll change what's going on out there for you in the dating world. It just makes sense. 6 months in the gym will change the way women are responding to you. This stuff just makes sense, okay? And so I will leave you guys with this. Don't chase women, chase excellence, and women will chase you. Trust the process, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.